Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be teaching you how you can create your very own virtual assistant just like I have. So we will be teaching you how you can make the virtual assistant using Python. If you don't know what is Python, Python is a popular programming language. Python also offers a good amount of libraries. Now, just for understanding, you can say it is a library having books which have some knowledge which can be used to create some other books. I mean, in the sense you can write other books, or you can say from that knowledge you can create other software. Uh, Now, let me tell you a bit about the virtual assistant. The virtual desktop assistant is an awesome thing. If you want your machine to run on a command like Jarvis did for Tony, yes, it is possible. It is possible using Python. Now, uh, Windows has SAPI 5 and Linux has eSpeak, which can help us in having the voice from our machine. It is a weak AI. So, let's move towards creating a virtual assistant. So the first thing that you have to do is open a browser and search for download Visual Studio Code and download Python 3.6.8. Now make sure you just install Python 3.6.8 as other versions do not support many modules or libraries. Uh, so let's not create chaos. I have given the link for both of these in the description. It would be better if you install both of the programs from the links provided to you in the description. Uh, Let me tell you why are we installing Python and Visual Studio Code. So basically, Visual Studio Code or VS Code is a code editor made by Windows through which you can write code. Now, there are many code editors, but I would recommend to use VS Code as it is simple and beginner friendly. But if you are an intermediate or advanced programmer, then I would recommend you to use Sublime Text or Python. So now let's install Python and VS Code.
Guys, actually the video I had made got corrupted, so I am playing my elder brother's video he had uploaded on his YouTube channel.
Clicking on my Google Chrome browser, and I'll open a new Google tab wherein I'll type Python install. After typing Python install, you will see these search results and you have to select the one from python.org. After you click on this link, you will see some of the methods you can use to install Python. Now you might be on a Mac or on a PC, or you might be on a Linux Ubuntu machine. Wherever you are, you'll get an option to download it for that operating system. I am on a Windows machine, so I will download it for my Windows operating system. So let's click here and start downloading Python. So as you guys can see that I am now downloading this Python, and it will take some time depending upon your internet connection. Now open a new tab and write Visual Studio Code install. Now Visual Studio Code is an awesome IDE and source code editor which can help you edit your Python code in a fantastic manner. We'll see how to use Visual Studio Code extensions. We'll see how Visual Studio Code will make things easier for you. Also, I'll be walking you through the entire procedure, so you don't have to worry about anything. All you have to do is click on this search result and you will be directed to this page wherein you can download Visual Studio Code for Mac, PC or Linux, wherever you are. I am on a Windows operating system, so I'll download it for my Windows operating system. As you can see, it has also started downloading. Now we have Python and Visual Studio Code being downloaded to our system. Now, so guys, as you can see that I have my Visual Studio Code and Python downloaded on my system. The next step is to install both of these softwares. In order to install Python, I'll double click on this installer since I am on a Windows operating system. So all you have to do is click install now. But before that, and this is gonna be a really very important step, you should check this at Python 3.72 path. This is really very important. So make sure that you check this one and then click on install now and give it some time to install on your operating system. It will take some time and it will install on your system. Installation of a software is something that you guys have done, so I don't need to comment more on that. After installing Python, we are gonna install Visual Studio Code, which is nothing but a source code editor. I have my Visual Studio Code downloaded as well, but I want to make sure my Python is installed first, and I'll fire Visual Studio Code launcher after that. Guys, Python has been topping the charts of popularity and ease of usage day by day, which is the reason I want you to master this language completely. So guys, as you can see, that setup was successful, and I'll close this now and I'll double click on my Visual Studio Code setup so that I can install Visual Studio Code. Now I know that you know how to install a software. You have to click I accept the agreement, and just you have to click on next, install, and it is done automatically. I am doing this for some of the people who might get some issues during installation of Python and Visual Studio Code, so I want to make sure that I do not skip any step, which is why I am installing Python and Visual Studio Code. After this, we'll go to
Okay, so now that we have installed VS Code and Python, let's move on to the coding part. So we'll first create a folder uh, and I will name this Jarvis. You can name it anything you like. Let me create a folder. I'll name my virtual assistant Jarvis. Alright. So I'll open this folder real quick. Okay. So now you need to press shift and right click. Uh, and click on open in Windows terminal. Now if you are on Windows 10, then you have to click on open with PowerShell, and if you are on Windows 11, then you have to do the same thing, shift plus right click, and then you have to click on open in Windows terminal. Let's wait for the terminal to open. It takes a bit of time to load that PowerShell terminal. Okay, so now as you can see, the terminal is opened. The first thing we have to type is code, and you need to put a space and then a dot, and then you have to press enter. Remember to add a space, or else VS Code would not be able to open this folder. Uh, and I will click on create the file. Okay, so now I will name this uh, main.py. Now remember to put the py extension, as it is important, or else VS Code would not be able to recognize in which language are you writing the code. Now I'll press enter, and as you can see down here that it says creating main.py. So it is just running the file create participants. And yes, it is not important to name it main. You can name it anything, but it is a code tradition, so I would prefer to name it main.py. So let's wait for a couple of seconds. So there we go. Our file has opened. So first we have to check that the Python that we have installed is running or not. So the first thing we have to type is print hello world. Now again, this is a code tradition. You can type anything here, such as if I would type here that path is a good boy or anything. Oops, and this. Okay, so if I will type here, path is a good boy. Now I have to press Ctrl and S to save our code, and as soon as we have saved our code, we have to press on the run button. So first I will save this again. As you can see, the white circle has disappeared, which means that we have successfully saved our code, and we have to click on run or debug icon, and a couple of extensions that I have installed are loading. You can also install extensions by pressing Ctrl Shift X, or you can directly click on the extensions icon. So I will wait for the terminal to open. I guess that we have to wait for Jupyter to load on, and it is telling the location of our file. Uh, so it is reading our code, and it will be typing the output here. So as you can see, I typed here print Parth is a good boy. So it has written Parth is a good boy, which means it has understood that our code we had written. Now you might have a question that what does the print function do? From the name you can tell its use. It is basically to print some text or numerals or special characters you have typed in between the inverted commas. Okay, so let's start coding. So the first you have to do is install some modules. Not from the internet, but you have to install it from the Visual Studio Code terminal. So the modules are PyTSX3, speech recognition, web browser, and Wikipedia. These are the ones you have to install. We are going to use other modules, but the other are pre-installed. So let's start installing it. So the first thing you have to do is to create a terminal, or you can simply click on the terminal button here, and I will wait for the Visual Studio Code terminal to load. So the first thing you have to install PyTSX3, we have to type pip install PyTSX3 and press enter. Now make sure to add pip install before typing any of the names of modules. Now in my case I have already installed all of these modules, so it is saying requirement satisfied. But you have to install all of these modules. So you have to type pip. Now after this you have to type pip install speech recognition. Now make sure to add the capital R and S, because in Python capital words matter. Now let's press enter and requirement is satisfied, but you again have to install this. Now again I will type pip install web browser. Okay, now I will type pip install Wikipedia. Now please ignore this message, a warning message written you are using pip version 18.8. However, a better version is available. Please ignore this since it is not required. If you want to upgrade it, you can upgrade it, but there is nothing to worry. There is no problem with your code. So now we have after installing all of these modules, you have to import all of these modules. We have to start typing. The first thing is import pyttsx3. Press enter and import pytt. Oh, sorry, pyttsx. Sorry. Now we have to type speech underscore recognition as SR. Now we have to type import date time. Now we have to type import Wikipedia and import OS, import import SMTPLIB. Now we have successfully imported all of these modules. Now we will type print initializing Jarvis. So let me type print and I'll type here initializing Jarvis, and I forgot to make the P small. And now let's save this and let's run this Python file in the terminal. So I'll clear this and this, and I'll just remove the SMTPLIB for some time, and let's run our code now. Now make sure to save it, and here you can see that it types initializing Jarvis. So now we have to set the engine of our program. So I'm going to type here engine is equals to pyttsx3 dot init, and I'm going to type sappy5 since I am on Windows. If you are on any Debian powered operating system, and then you have to go for I guess if you are on any Debian powered systems, then you have to go for eSpeak. So now let's set the voice of our Jarvis. Engine dot get oops get property. So we are going to get the property of the voices available. Oops, I need to come out of this, and I will now set the engine property. So engine dot set property, and I'm going to type voice, comma, and now we are going to define which voice do we need. Supposing I need a female voice, so I will type 0. If you will type 1, then you would get a male voice. After we have set the engine which will help the AI to speak, let's move on to writing our first function, which is going to be the speak function. So I'm gonna be typing define. So we are first going to be defining the speak audio. So we have to just type speak. Oops. Speak, and then we will define that we want the audio. Now if we press enter, now you will see that there is a bit of space. So engine say the audio. So the engine which we have set is PyTTSX SAPI 5. So would say the text we have written. Now let's type engine dot run, and wait, and put this sign. Now if I type here hashtag, so if I type something like hello, so when I put a hashtag in front of it, so our program would not, I mean our code interpreter would not read this code. So we just want to say that please don't read this. So the code interpreter will not read it. But if you remove this hashtag, so as you can see, it read it and it is underlining it, saying this is a problem. So this whenever you want to tell somebody anything, so just remember to add a hashtag. And with the engine run and wait command, uh, the speech would not be audible to us if we would have not added this. Now, when we have add a hashtag in front of a text in Python, would not read it. So let's create the main function, and inside the main function, we will call our speak function. So I'll type here if underscore underscore name underscore underscore and is equals to and again underscore underscore main underscore underscore. Now I'll ask it to speak that part is a good boy. Mm, Now I remember to add a space, and I'll save all of this, and now let's run the Python code in terminal. Oops, there is an error. Okay, so I had forgot to type this here. Now I need to delete this. We need to put a tab here. So now you can see that the error has gone. No need to worry if you are facing an error here. This is just an error by pylons. So I'll save this, and I'll run the Python code in my terminal. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. As you can see, it is typing first, initializing Jarvis, which I had set the command here. Now it is reading other code I have written. Okay, so again there is an error. I need to check this. Just a second. Now let's check if it works. So it has again type initializing Jarvis, and there we go. Congratulations, your virtual assistant just said its first words. It has its own voice and it is now ready to speak. Now we will be making a wish me function that will make our Jarvis wish or greet the user according to the time of the computer or the PC. To provide current or lifetime to the AI, we need to import a module called date and time. Now we had already imported this module in the starting. So now let's start defining the wish me function. So I'll cut this, and let me start defining the wish me function. So whenever I am typing def, it doesn't mean, yeah, I know the spellings are wrong, but I don't mean to say the word def. The def means I want to define some text variable. So now I'll add this column, and I'll press enter, and I'll type here hour is equals to int the date time, and dot again I'll type date, oops, date time dot now, again I'll put this, and dot hour. Here we have stored the current hour or time integer value into a variable named hour. Now we will use this hour value inside an if else loop. The next important thing for our AI assistant is that it should take command with the help of the microphone of the user system. So now we will make a take command function. With the help of the take command function, our AI will return a string output by taking microphone input from the user. So let's start coding the take command function. So I'll type define take command function and I'll put this. Now remember, whenever you are defining a function, make sure to add this column and press enter. Now what this does, it takes microphone input from the user and returns string output. So I will be typing it takes oops it takes my microphone input from from the I guess there is a bug. My PC was lagging and returns string output. So I am typing this because I have to share the source code with you guys. Now I will be defining the R variable. So sr dot recognizer with sr dot microphone as source, put a column, enter, print listening r dot pause underscore threshold is equals to 1. Then audio is equals to r dot listen source. Then oops, okay. Now we are going to define the try function. We are not defining the function, we are just telling the computer about this function that we are creating. Now let's press enter. Now we have to complete the wish me function because it is just taking the hour and it is just storing it, but we want it to wish us. So if we want it to wish us, we have to type if hour is equals to 0 like and 12. In between these timings, it should, if the user runs our program, so it should say good morning. Good morning. And now we have put one if statement. We cannot add multiple if statements. So I would be typing elif hour 12 and hour 18 peak Good afternoon. Or else speak good evening. So let me just check I guess there are some problems with my code. Let me fix them and I'll get back. We created our take command function. Now we are going to add a try and accept block to our program to handle errors effectively. So I'm going to type try uh, print recognizing dot and the query is equal to r dot recognize underscore Google audio comma language is equals to English Indian. Now if you are in America, then you can type E in US, or in any other country you can type the short code for it here. Now I'm going to type using Google for voice recognition, and now I'm going to type printf string, and now it is going to say user said, and then it is going to tell us the query into terminal. By n now here the user query will be printed. Now accept exception as e. Oops. Okay, so now our statement looks good. Now I'm going to type print e. Now this is not important. That is why I'm putting a hashtag print. Say that again, please. So what will happen here is say that again will be printed in case of improper voice. Now I'll be typing return none. Now none string will be returned. and I'm going to type return. Now we will develop logic for different commands such as Wikipedia searches, playing music, etc. After installing the Wikipedia module, import it to the program by writing an import statement which we had already done. So I would recommend you to save the code in between because we don't want our code uh, to get ruined. So yeah, let's create the uh, wish me function. So I know we had created it earlier, but we need to improve it. Is equal to the main thing, and we're going to put a comma, a column, and we're going to say wish me while true. If one query equal to take command dot lower um, so what this will be doing is converting user query into lowercase. So now we will be creating a logic for executing tasks based on the query. Okay, so I will be typing here. If Wikipedia found in the query, then this block will be executed. So it is going to speak searching Wikipedia, and the query is going to replace the query dot replace Wikipedia, comma. So it would automatically type the query here. Now it is going to we are going to define the result Wikipedia dot summary. So it is just going to say the summary like two sentences. So I would be typing query, comma, sentences. Now, if you want your virtual assistant to tell you more things about it. So you can type 8, or you can type 9, or you can even type 90 sentences. But I want to keep it short and simple, so I'll type, I just need 2 sentences. So now it will speak according to Wikipedia, and oops, and it is going to print the results string which we had created here. So this is actually a variable. Now it is also going to print the results, and at the same time it is going to speak the result. In the above code, we have used an if statement to check whether Wikipedia is in the user search query or not. If Wikipedia is found in the user search query, then 2 sentences from the summary of the Wikipedia page will be converted to speech with the help of the speech function. To open any website, we need to import a module called web browser. It is an inbuilt module, and we don't need to install it with the pip statement. We can directly import it into our program by writing an import statement, which again we have installed. So I would be typing elif open YouTube. So this means that if the user says open YouTube, so it would open the web browser and search for youtube.com. Here we are using an elif loop to check whether YouTube is in the user's query. Let's suppose that the user gives a command as Jarvis open YouTube. So YouTube will be in the user's query and the elif condition will be true. So I'll save our code, and I'll type elif open oops open Google in query web browser open google.com. We are opening Google in a web browser by applying the same logic that we used to open YouTube. You can type the same code, just the elif statement and the link of the website you want to open. To play music, we need to import a module called OS. Import this module directly with an import statement. We have already installed and imported all of the statements. Please ignore me saying it. It is just a reminder. So I'll be saying elif play music in query. Oh, I get it. And web browser open if you want to play music, then you can go and like there are many music websites such as Spotify, Ghana. So if you want to open a browser, then you can type if you want to open a web app, then you can type anything such as Spotify. I want Spotify to open. Now if you want to play any music or audio in your fold any of your folder, uh, then you have to type music dir. I'll be typing the source code for both of these. So I would recommend you to open the web browser and for Spotify, because it has a lot of songs. uh, it would be better rather than you playing the songs you have put in your folder. But yes, I would be putting the code for it. So now uh, every time you can use this command to play music. Jarvis will play any random song from the song directory of Spotify. Now let's create a time statement. So if the user says the time in query, which means that if the user says the time, so the user can say what is the time, etc. So whenever our speech recognition system gets the time thing, so it would make a string called time, which would be date time dot date time dot now, and the string uh, f time, and we are going to put some percent some percent values here. So the first percent value is going to be h, then m s, and it is going to speak the first. It is going to be a f variable. So it is going to speak, sir, the time is, and it is going to speak. First, this command is going to be used to get the time, and after we have got the time, so the it would say, sir, the time is, and we are going to refer to this string we have created, which has the time. In the above code, we are using the date and time function and storing the current or live system time into a variable called string time. After storing the time in string time, we are passing this variable as an argument in speak function. Now the time string will be converted into speech. Now let's define task 6 to open the Visual Studio Code program. So elif open, or let's say VS Code, or rather open VS Code in query, then code path is equal to, you need to get the location where it is stored. So I had got the location of it. So I will be pasting the location here. So it is in M folder, and you can simply search here for app data and then go to local folder programs, and there you can find the Microsoft VS Code and folder, and you can click on it and search for code.exe. So I'll remove this VS Code since we are getting the code path, and then uh, uh, the operating system is going to help us to start the file which we have told. To open the VS Code or any other application, we need the code path of the application. Now the steps to get the code path of the application are: open the file location. You can simply right click on the application and click on properties, and copy the target from the targeted section. After copying the target of the application, save the target into a variable. Here I am saving the target into a variable called code path, and then we are using the OS module to open the application. Now let's define task 7 to send an email. Now uh, sending an email is a difficult task, but we can do this. Now in order to do this, we need to import a module named smtplib, which we had imported earlier. Now I guess we did not install it, so you need to create a new terminal. Let's wait for the terminal to load successfully. So now as you can see, the terminal has loaded. So I would be typing pip install smtplib. So what is smtplib? So it is called Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, which is smtplib. Is a protocol that allows us to send emails and route emails between mail servers. An instant method called send mail is present in the SMTP module. This instance method allows us to send an email. It takes three parameters: the sender, email address of the sender, the receiver, the email address of the receiver, the message, a string message which needs to be sent to one or more than one recipient. Let's define the send mail function. So we will be defining this send mail. Oops, we have to tell it that we have to send an email, because computers cannot send mails like the post mails to the content, and we are going to define the server, which is smtplib dot smtp and smtp dot gmail.com. Actually it's at the rate, I guess. So I am going to define the port of this email, which is 587. It is going to be same for everyone. So server dot hello, and so this is a string named hello. It is a host command to it is used. Oops, why is there a zero? But I guess I put it by mistake. So now the server should start the TLS, and server dot login your mail, your email and delete gmail.com, and after this put a comma, and you need to enter your password here. So now don't enter your mail at the rate gmail.com. I meant to say that you have to type your Gmail address here and your password so that the server can log in and send emails. So the server is going to send a mail mm, to, I mean, send a mail from your email. Now it can be gmail.com or your school mail, anything. And then to content, and the server is going to get closed. In the above code, we are using the SMTP module which we have already discussed above. Note, do not forget to enable the less secure apps feature in your Gmail account. Otherwise, the send email function will not work properly. Now, let's make the next function, which is calling the send email function inside the main function. So we have defined it, but have we made a query for it? I mean, not a query, but a query intaker. So let's create it. So it is going to be elif email to path. Now, just supposingly, if you like, if there is a person whom you send mails the most. Supposingly, I am the person whom you send emails most of the times. So you can type the name of the person here, and whenever you will speak, email to path. So our Jarvis would mail it. So let's make this function properly. So try speak what should I say. So when you will say email to path, so our Jarvis would ask, what should I say to path? So the content is going to be the take command string and to part your mail. Now, if you want my official email address, it is connex.path@gmail.com. Connex is the organization in which I am the owner and CEO. Send email to content. Oops, I added a capital C. And it is going to speak. Email has been sent. And then accept exception as E. Print E, and it is going to speak. Oh, first we need to remove this from the try function. Now we have removed it from the try function. So now after it prints E, so E means an error. It is going to say sorry, my friend uh, whatever, like supposedly the sender is Yuvansh. Yuvansh, bro, I am not able to send this email. So we are using a try and accept block to handle any possible error while sending email. Recapitulate. First of all, we have created a wish me function that gives the greeting functionality according to our AI system time. After wish me function, we have created a take me function which helps our AI to take commands from the user. This function is also responsible for returning the user's query in a string format. We have developed the code logic for opening different websites like Google, YouTube, and Stack Overflow. Developed code logic for opening VS Code or many other applications. At last, we added functionality to send emails. What is an AI? Many people will argue that virtual assistant that we have created is not an AI, but it is the output of a bunch of statements. But if we look at the fundamental level, the sole purpose of AI developed machines that can perform human tasks with the same effectiveness or even effectively than humans. It is a fact that our virtual assistant is not a very good example of AI, but it is an AI. With this, you have successfully made your very first virtual assistant. Explore and try to add other functionalities to Jarvis. I hope you all like this tutorial. Feel free to ask your queries in the chat section, and I am going to be adding some more functionalities to our virtual assistant. So just stay tuned, and I'll be seeing you guys with another tutorial. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye bye.